Hi, it's Martin and welcome to another video on my Knit365 YouTube channel. Today's video is a bit of a mini wrap-up for the West Knits summer sock along where we made the contrast blast socks. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't yet finished your socks and you're trying to avoid spoilers and you've not seen on Ravelry or Instagram what the finished socks look like, then you probably want to pause this video and head back and come and see me in a few weeks or days or months when you finished. But I'm going to show the finished socks. So slightly later than planned. My videos usually go up Monday at 4 o'clock. I'm still in catch-up mode. I'm very hot. I'm very red-faced. I've had a day at the farm today where I've been to the mill, so more on that in future editions. So I filmed the latest in the Sock to Skein series with Ellie from Tiddenbryn Farm, but I've just rushed back. We came back from holiday last week. It's all a bit frantic, so I'm going to try and put this video live today on Monday, but it will obviously be after 4 o'clock because it's currently 5:15. And I'm only just now sitting down to film it. So it's very warm in the flat today, which is also not helping my red face. Well, let's just say that I've got a lovely tan from my holiday. I did have a lovely holiday. More on that in my month-end roundup, which will come next week, including an update on all of the things I did while we were on holiday. There's no holiday blog. It was really nice to get away, switch off, just enjoy a holiday and a break with Mark. But there was no yarn shopping, there was no knitting, there was no blogging. It was nice to just have a break. So I will talk more about that in next week's video, and I will show I did a lot of progress. I did a lot of knitting and crocheting, and I had a lot of progress to share with you all, so that will come in next week's video. But today I want to talk about the Stephen West contrast blast socks for the summer sock along. So if you have been following along, you'll know that we're making contrasting socks, and you've had 2 minutes of a warning spoiler introduction. Let me show off my finished socks. So are you ready? Final warning. Okay, here we go. Dun da da da. So here we have, that won't be the thumbnail. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail, because that's kind of a spoiler, isn't it? Here we have the finished socks. So you can see they're on blockers. They are slightly too big for the blockers. I made the size 3. I have a UK 10 foot, and they are slightly too big for the sock blockers that I have. But let me show you in some more detail then the sock. So we started out with this lovely cable that moves, ribbon, which moves into this twisted cable. Then we moved into this diagonal step pattern. Then we've got this sort of brick pattern here, and this was the swatch that we had to do. Or we didn't have to do, when this was the swatch for the gauge, this kind of textured pattern. And because I did this as a test knit, I did of course do a swatch to make sure that I got gauge, and I did get gauge on the pattern. So we went into this section, then we did this really funky two-toned heel, and then we did the gusset where we picked up the stitches and we did this really cool cable here. So the diagonal step pattern came back on the top of the foot. Then we had this lovely twisted cable with just a plain stocking stitch bottom of the foot. And then we had this really funky brick pattern back, but with this traveling cable. Then we had a rounded toe with where you can see the decreases, and it was a bit of a twisted rib effect on the sock. And the great thing with this pattern is, if I hold them up, we had a left foot and a right foot, so the cables travel in different directions. and the same on the toe, not the toe, sorry, on the actual foot. Oh, no, I'm showing the other way around. Where the foot section and the traveling cables travel in different directions. So yeah, these are quite possibly my favorite pair of socks ever. Mainly in the first instance because they fit. I think I said this in one of my other videos about the socks. Who knew that getting gauge would give you a perfect fitted item? We always hear about it, don't we? And we never do it. I know some of you are hardened swatchers. I'm not usually one of those, but I am definitely learning to love swatching. So I got gauge perfectly. I knit mine on a 2mm needle. I use these needles, these driftwood needles from Licker. And I think a few people commented when I asked this question a few videos ago, it is Licker, not Leica. But anyway, from these, the driftwood needles. So the pattern called for a 2.25mm needle, and my gauge was slightly off. So I went down to a 2mm, which was very fine. I think I've got thicker cocktail sticks than these needles. So they were knit on a 2mm needle, and that wasn't even an adaptation. I was going to say that was the only adaptation I made, but it wasn't really an adaptation. I just needed a 2mm to get gauge. But I love how tight the stitches are. I think these are pretty neat, even if I say so myself. And there's this awesome little twisted traveling cable that you can see, and that's on both sides of the sock. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is also probably the fiddliest pair of socks I've ever made. I really enjoyed learning so many different techniques, especially the cabling. If I pull this off the blocker, so here you can see what the sock looks like. So here you can really see that traveling cable design, and then this is the back. So it was a great little project, and yeah, there's a tiny, you can see a tiny jog where I did my color changes, but do you know what, that's on the bottom of the foot, and I'm totally fine with that. It weirdly doesn't give you, you can see the little jog on the bottom, but you can't feel it when it's on your foot. I've worn these, spoiler, these have been worn once and I haven't rewashed them, but it's fine. So yeah, they are my socks. I used approximately, I think it was about 52 grams of one and about 48 grams of another. This yarn is by Gemma of The Little Grey Girl, and this is the Thane colourway and the Alwyn colourway. Both of these are still available on Gemma's website, and this is her high twist sock base, so it's a 4-ply fingering weight yarn. And what I really like is that we got quite a good contrast in the socks between the teal and the creamy colour. But what I also really love is the way the creamy colour is slightly speckled. So you can see the little highlights. I think it just adds a really nice little interesting flash of colour across the socks. And yet, this is the third pair of socks I've made for myself, I think. And it is the first pair that have fitted me properly. I've got a pair that are slightly too tight. I've got another pair that are way too big, but these are just perfect. So maybe I should nickname these my Goldilocks socks. But I'm going to insert a little clip now of me wearing them. Small little fashion parade. So I will pop that clip in now. not going to do a little dance like that after every pair of socks I make, but or maybe I will. So yeah, these are finished. I'm super, super pleased. And yeah, there's a little bit of me that was sad that this was part of a mystery sock along, because when the test knit call came out, we weren't told that that's what it was going to be. And with hindsight, I think I'm kind of glad I didn't know what that was, because I was really happy to be able to test these and to get on board with a test knit. But I did miss the mystery element. I think I really enjoy following along and doing the mystery knits with you all. You all know that I love the annual mystery shawl along, the proper mystery knit along. And Irina from Fibre Chats and I will be back in September. God, it's not going to be long, is it? 6-7 weeks till we get information about the mystery knit along, I think. Irina and I will be back to do more collaborations and some joint videos and things, and help the excitement for the knit along in our communities here on YouTube. But I really enjoy the mystery element. And there's a little bit of me, I said, that was really happy to be able to test knit these. But then equally, I think I missed the mystery element of it. And maybe I could have done 2 pairs. And because I tested these back in March. So maybe I could have test knit these and then also joined in again with the mystery and maybe made Mark a pair, for example, or just a second pair for myself. But yeah, I think I won't get an opportunity to join in on the test knit for the mystery shawl along. That's not on the general test knit list. That's a smaller, perfectly formed group of people. But there's a part of me that was thinking, oh, if I ever got an opportunity to do the mystery shawl, would I? And I'm not sure I would now, having knit these and seeing the excitement with all you folks not knowing what was coming. I think I really like that, like the night before the next pattern, you kind of look where you've got to and you're like, oh, I wonder what the next clue is going to be. And I quite like the mystery element of it. So don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved test knitting these. But there's something nice and magical about the mystery. And yeah, I think it was really interesting doing these and being able to be on the other side. I loved seeing people's reactions and folks like me when it's the shawl along, when we're trying to guess what the pattern's going to be or where the next clue is going. I really love that and being able to try and have that guess. And then being on the other side, seeing what some of you were saying, I was like, oh, they're nearly right. Oh no, actually they're way off. So it was interesting to be on this side of the fence, knowing what the pattern was going to be. But I think I definitely prefer being on your side of the camera when it comes to the mystery and being able to join in and share in the excitement. So yeah, they are my Contrast Blast mystery knit along socks. Summer sock along socks. Summer sock along sock? I can't remember. We need to think of a snappier way of me remembering this, isn't it? Summer sock along 2023, I think it is. But yeah, a super, super pattern. Once again, Stephen doesn't disappoint in his pattern creations. How you get from this to like this. And even then, when I got to the toe, I thought, oh, I finished. It's time for the toe. And I was like, oh no, it's not a normal toe. Why would it be a normal toe? No, we've got a twisted rib on the toe. So I love, like, we literally were kept guessing all the way to the end. I learned some new techniques. I said in a previous video, this cable section and the cable section, sorry, all the cable sections really, here, here, and here. Excuse me, fluff. I learned to cable without a cable needle because I did that in last year's mystery knit along in twists and turns. But that was just a 2-stitch cable. So similarly with this one, I was also able to do that technique again and learn the 2 different, so cables in the front or cables in the back. I was able to learn to do that. And because the needles were so thin, there was no way. At one point I did have a cable needle to try up here right in the beginning. I was trying to use a cable needle. Then I tried to use a floop, one of the bendy stitch holder things. So in the end, I grabbed a spare double point and I tried to do it with that, and it was way too fiddly, and I thought, let's just try and do what we did in the mystery knit along and do it without a cable needle. And all of a sudden I was like, it's unlocked. It was so much easier and less fiddly to actually do it without a cable needle. So I learnt some new things. I'm much more confident, I think, in cabling without a cable needle. So if I twist that around slightly on the blocker, you can see it's just crazy. But I love how you can follow the zigzag and it comes down like a little marble run that starts at the top and spins its way out. So yeah, I just wanted to pop along. I know lots of you have enjoyed seeing my socks and how it's been progressing, but also a few of you commented that it kind of sad in a way that I wasn't joining in with you. So I just thought I would pop along and wrap up my pair of socks from the Secret Sock Along, Summer Sock Along, you know what I mean. And just wrap that up and show off my finished socks. So I hope that you have enjoyed, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing my socks, and I hope that you've enjoyed the pattern if you've been making along with it. If you haven't yet started, have I inspired you to start? The pattern is still available, and of course Stephen's got videos and tutorials on his YouTube channel, which will continue to be available, so you can go and still join in. If you did join in, have you finished? Did you do 2 different socks? Did you do 2 of the same sock? Lots of different ways for people to join in and customize and make the socks. You know, you don't need to worry about doing the cables in a different direction. You could have just made 2 of the same sock, and I know some people have done that. I really loved seeing people where they've inverted their colors, and they did one sock, say, with the teal and the cream, but then they inverted the colors, so have a cream and a teal contrast. So it's been fantastic, as with the mystery shawl along, to see folks customizations and see how you take the challenge and take the pattern and make it your own. So yeah, just a short video from me, and slightly later on a Monday than I would usually do it, but I've been to the farm. It's been a bit of a busy old day. So I will be back next Monday with my monthly roundup. It will be an action-packed edition with at least 2 finished objects, I think. 2 finished objects, 2 new cast-ons, I think. Lots of progress though. It was a busy old month, including some time away with Mark in Italy. Very, very hot. Even in the evenings at like 9, 10 o'clock, it was 30 degrees. Oof, it was hot, but it was brilliant. We had such a lovely time. So I'll talk about that more next week. So I'm going to wrap this up. I hope that you are all well. Have a lovely week. I will be back next week to talk more about other projects. So until we speak again, happy crafting.